The orchard within the grounds boasts a wide variety of fruit and nut trees, including apples, quince, nuts, cherry, and a spectacular mulberry tree. During the medieval period, orchards were an alternative to something known as a pleasure park, an area of land with prized beasts, rare trees, and unusual, richly perfumed flowers, where you could entertain guests and make a visual example of your wealth. Pietro de Crescenzi, a 13th century jurist who was later renowned for his horticultural writing, said, "An orchard could be included as part of the decorative gardens should you not afford a pleasure park." However, during the 17th century, the orchard became a more practical and relevant addition to gardens, prized for their blossoms in spring, provider of shade in summer, and food later in the year. The fruit would ensure nourishment during the winter months when other food would have been scarce in the garden. It could be used to make beverages too, as people would have avoided drinking the water. Perry and cider are two such examples. Fruit could be boiled down to make preserves and sweetmeats, or simply served alongside other preserved goods to make a more substantial and flavoursome meal. Two such examples of culinary fruits within the orchard at the house are the cat's head apple, Malus domestica, named as such due to the resemblance of its namesake, and the medlar, Mespilus germanica, part of the Rosacea family, which include roses, pears and sorbus. In earlier history, it was referred to as the open arse fruit by the English and dog's arse fruit by the French. The medlar was a popular fruit during the 17th century, yet its earliest horticultural reference was in the 10th century. Chaucer mentions it within his Canterbury Tales, and another literary figure that includes it in his writing was Shakespeare. "Now I will sit under the medlar tree and wish his mistress with that kind of fruit. As maids call medlars when they laugh alone, O Romeo, that she were, oh that she were, an open arse and thou a poprin pear." Romeo and Juliet. From a culinary perspective, they store well, taking a long time to ripen, and are best consumed when bletted or over-ripened. At first they are hard, sour and almost astringent, but when eaten at their best, picked late autumn after the first frost and stored in a cool, dry place till bletted, they become deliciously sweet, giving and aromatic. The cat's head apple was first recorded in cultivation records in 1629 and remained popular right through to the 19th century. Cultivated varieties of sweet apples were derived from Asian species and thought to have been brought over to Britain by the Romans. It has also been suggested that the seeds of sweet apples were brought across to Ireland and merged into Britain with the migration of the Celts into Europe. The cat's head apple stores exceptionally well and makes a delicious baked apple custard, apple tart and a more traditional apple pie filling, as tasty in flavour as it is unusual in shape.
As well as the plums, medlars, quinces, pears and other interesting varieties of fruit tree, the orchard is also home to hazelnut trees. When left to grow naturally, the nutritious nuts they bear can be harvested in great numbers, squirrels notwithstanding. But when coppiced, they become an invaluable source of long thin poles, with which tall plants can be supported and hurdle fences can be woven.